Now Flash Ducati goes forward. Western Empire very short at $1.30. Red light is on. Was set in the Derby. Ready. And they're racing. And the favourite had a comfortable start, Western Empire. Lunar Impact, as it did in the Oaks, is out in front, leading the way by a length and a half. Brave Angel going forward today. Kerman Rockers down on the inside, a little bit keen, and then came Flash Ducati as Brave Angel gets up outside of the leader, and she wants to be a bit racy. Western Empire got caught out a shade wide, trying to get in and wants to over race as well. Now gets outside of Reliable Star. So Flash Ducati's just in front of them, but continues to pull hard here. Western Empire hasn't settled. Then came Hollyoak Temptation, and last of all is Fear the Wind. So out of the straight in the Derby at the 1800 metres, and they really collide into a flock of birds there as they work out of the straight at the 1700. Lunar Impact is leading the way. It's Lunar Impact from Brave Angel and Kerman Rock, and then came Flash Ducati on the outside, followed by Reliable Star. Then the favourite who's settled better now. Western Empire outside Hollyoak from Temptation, and Fear the Wind is back last of all as they work into the back straight. Lunar Impact leads by 1.5. Brave Angel much closer today. A neck away third, Kerman Rock. 2.5 Flash Ducati, and then Reliable Star. Western Empire travelling comfortably now midfield on the outside of Hollyoak, and then came Temptation, and still last is Fear the Wind as they work down the back straight at the 1100 metre mark. It's Lunar Impact trying to do it all the way for a Brave Angel. Third on the inside, Kerman Rock, then Reliable Star with Flash Ducati in the moving line. On its back is Western Empire, and Pike is just biding his time, and then came Hollyoak Temptation, and still last is Fear the Wind. They got about 750 metres to go, and Lunar Impact leads the way from Brave Angel. Kerman Rock, Flash Ducati, Reliable Star, 2.5 away Hollyoak. It's down on the inside of Western Empire, still yet to make that move, and then Temptation. Chris Parnham's going to follow Pike, and 2 lengths away struggling Fear the Wind. Coming up towards the home turn, Brave Angel was put under pressure as Kerman Rock popped off the inside to come after Lunar Impact. Flash Ducati out wide, then Reliable Star. Pike hasn't moved yet. Now he gets to the outside with Western Empire, and Temptation's on its back, but here comes Western Empire now, putting in a booming run to come after Kerman Rock, and also Lunar Impact. Temptation running on, then Reliable Star in front. Kerman Rock, Western Empire's cutting it down. Temptation late, Western Empire in front, and Western Empire goes home to win the Derby from Temptation by 3/4. A neck away third, Kerman Rock, fourth in Reliable Star, and then Lunar Impact. Brave Angel knocked up, ridden upside down, and then came Hollyoak, followed by well back Flash Ducati, and tailed off is Fear the Wind. Western Empire has done it. William Pike, $1.30, $1.04, Temptation, $1.60, and Kerman Rock at $4.90. Behind them, Reliable Star. But this Western Empire is certainly not crumbling, and it's powered down the centre of the track with a great burst. Temptation had its back, ran home very gamely indeed, and Kerman Rock was brave, given a great ride by Warwick as it popped off the inside to cut down the leader, Lunar Impact. But it was Western Empire who put in the big booming strides down the outside. It's another win for Bob Peters in a West Australian Derby in the Cerise and White. Grant and Alana Williams. It wasn't easy. It was hard work the final 200 metres, but the class came to the top. Temptation, she's a very good filly when she's ridden cold like that. 3/4 a long head, 2:30.91, 37.08 the final 600, and 1:8.39. Tactics really backfired on Brave Angel there going forward, and she was under pressure a fair way out. But Temptation was certainly in the right spot, whereas Brave Angel was at the front of the field doing the bullocking work, and you saw the difference in the result there. Reliable Star ran well to finish back in a 4th place. Let's head down to Brittany now, who's having a chat to Bob.
I am indeed. We're playing a game of trying to list his WATC Derby winners. Bob, you must pinch yourself when you think back of the record you have in this race. We've just counted 11 that you've won.
I think it's around that number. I haven't counted, but we've been beaten a couple of times in the last 10 years, which was predictable, I suppose, and today didn't look too good either when we were when he was pulling so hard early, and I thought he was going to get trapped wide. He's wide around the corner, so he's done a good job, really. He's been up a long time.
The 2,400 metres start gives them the entire length of the straight to find a position. From the barrier, there were always going to be two options, go back to last or Willie to chance his hand and find a spot. What were your discussions pre-race about what your preference was going to be?
Our preference was to have a few behind us if we could, and be midfield, one off the fence, but that didn't work out.
Were you concerned when you saw him? We know in the past that he can really get fierce. Were you concerned in those early stages?
Yes, I was concerned when he was still out around the corner. That's not good. In the straight, it doesn't matter so much.
At what stage did you get quite comfortable when you thought, no, he's back and he's travelling in a nice rhythm now?
I think it was just past the 1800 when he got in and started to relax.
When you're rounding for home, your confidence must have been growing, knowing just how good a turn of foot he does really have.
Yes, but he did go very wide, didn't he? He's travelled further than any other horse in the race by quite a bit when you can think he was wide around the first corner and then wide around the last corner.
Remember early in the preparation that you were toying with the idea of whether to go east. Are you glad that you've stayed here and been able to take all before you and take all of these WA races?
No, not really. If the pace had been on in that race, the challenge, and he'd won that, he was booked on the plane to go to Melbourne on the Monday night for the Australian Guineas, which is a Group 1 worth $1 million. And when that happened in that race, that stopped us from going. And he's made up for it a bit here, but he's had to do a lot of racing to get anywhere near what he would have possibly got over there.
On behalf of the WA racing fans, we're happy that he stayed here because we've got to watch a star in the making. What are the big goals for him later on in the year?
Oh, he'll have a good spell now, and we'll bring him back probably for our summer carnival and look at the good races over the summer.
Do you look at going east at all?
I don't think he's ready for that yet. Maybe we'll think about that one, but most likely he'd stay here.
Congratulations on yet another WATC derby. It's an incredible record.
Thank you.
Bob Peters there. What a record he has. He's won 9 of the last 11 WATC derbies. William Pike, I think he brings up his 10th. The kids are on the fence there saying, good on you, Dad. They're pretty proud of his efforts, and so they should be. Willie Pike will weigh in, and he'll catch up with Scott. But special mention also to Grant and Alana Williams, whose record continues to grow in this race. The combination of all of them has just been outstanding, and Pikey is with Scott.
He has, I believe it is win number 10 in this race for Willie Pike. Pikey, we know that the 2,400 metre start gives you a little bit more time to find positions, but it certainly, for a couple of strides there, looked a little bit nervous.
Yeah, definitely. He jumped so good, and I knew that was going to be a problem leading into today. I'd almost rather he missed the kick and I could chime into it the way I want, but he jumped real good and clean. Probably had to pull out a few reverse park tricks to find a spot. He didn't appreciate it very much. He over-raced a bit early, but he settled early enough for me to get the job done.
Just how long did it take for him to finally settle into his rhythm?
Probably up over the back about the mile, I'd say, about there.
We talk about slowly run staying races over here in the West. What were they doing today? What was Lunar Impact putting in enough pace?
I think so. I actually probably couldn't go much quicker, or I would have been out of my comfort zone for a few stages of it. So I think it was a true staying test. I think the form is good out of it. The third horse out of the Oaks, has gone close to me. So I know there's been some question marks over the quality of the race, but I think you'll find it's not so bad as in the years to come.
In later preparations, what do you think now, having ridden him at 1100, ridden him at 22, ridden him at 24, and seen what he was able to do under Chris Parnham at a mile and 1800, what's going to be the best that we'll see of Western Empire?
Well, on paper, I suppose his wins at the mile, 1800, looked more impressive, winning by big margins, but probably a bit early to say. He'll go for a spell, and it probably has to do with how he comes on mentally. If he comes back that same fiery horse, well, mile might be his go, but they tend to chill a bit after they've been up over the ground.
We're watching those last 3 victories of the in the Derby. We watched Action, then Regal Power, then Tuscan Queen, and now today we just watched Western Empire. Where does he sit in the list of 10 for Willie Pike?
He's definitely right up there, especially on potential. It's one of those things, it's an unknown. You've got to see how they spell, how they come back. A couple of those names I probably didn't rate so much, and they come back and done some really good things, and a couple of them I probably had higher than they achieved. So it really is a lottery. Has to do with how they spell and their attitude when they come back.
Congratulations, well done, Willie.
Thank you very much.
William Pike guides Western Empire home to complete the Lex Piper, the JC Roberts, the Melvista, and today adds another WATC derby. Bob and Sandra Peters, Grant and Alana Williams, William Pike. What a record, what an effort. Western Empire takes out the 2021 derby.
Like someone, I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. We're south of the equator, navigator, gotta hit the road, gotta hit the road. Deep sea diving round the clock, bikini bottoms, lager tops. I could get used to this. Time flies by in the yellow and green. Stick around and you'll see what I mean. There's a mountain top that I'm dreaming of. If you need me, you know where I'll be. I'll be riding short.